Moving on to superintendent recommendations and reports.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Begley. At this time, Mr. Hussle will be covering the items listed under Personnel Professional and Personnel Support.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Bagley and members of the board, I have several items for your consideration this evening. Under Personnel Professional, number 1, resignations, letters A through B. Number 2, extracurricular resignation, letter A. Number 3, employment, letters A through H. That concludes all the items I have for your consideration under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Hussle. I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendations.
Make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Napier, Mrs. Birding Miller, any discussion? Mrs. Lane, please call the roll.
Mr. Napier,
Yes.
Mrs. Birding Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gundrum,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Begley.
Yes.
Mr. Bagley, members of the board, I have several items for your consideration this evening under Personnel Support. Number 1, resignations, letters A through C. Number 2, unpaid leaves of absence, A through C. Number 3, employment, letters A through D. Number 4, promotion, letter A. Number 5, correction, letter A. That concludes all the items I have for your consideration under Personnel Support.
Thank you, Mr. Hussle. A motion to accept these recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gundrum, Mr. Clark, Mrs. Lane, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gundrum,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Napier,
Yes.
Mrs. Birding Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Begley.
Yes.